Hey guys, Ruby Harrell here with 9 Leadership, coming to you with another Cinema Coach video today. And today we're talking about The Karate Kid. Not the Jackie Chan remake, that's actually the Kung Fu Kid, which we're not talking about and we shall never ever mention again. We're talking about the original Karate Kid from 1984, the classic with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita and William Zabka. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm excited to do this video, so stay tuned. In case you've been severely cinematically deprived in your life and haven't seen the original movie, The Karate Kid, not the unspeakable Jackie Chan reboot that shall not be named, here's a quick summary of this instant classic. Starring Pat Morita as the iconic Mr. Miyagi, Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, and William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence, The Karate Kid is an absolute masterpiece that tackles the difficulties of teen bullying and personal growth, while bringing elements of Eastern philosophy to the silver screen. Mr. Miyagi might have been the original cinema coach, dropping simple but impactful and eternally relevant philosophical bombs as he trains and coaches Daniel-san through his coming-of-age story. And Pat Morita plays him brilliantly. It does an amazing job of storytelling, creating relatable, human characters who you find yourself rooting for and caring about before you even realize it, and does it all with a flair that only the 80s could have produced and cultivated. This film is one of my absolute favorites of all time, for many reasons. Not the least of which is that it was extremely relatable for me because of my life and growing up being that kind of outcast kid. I'm sure a lot of folks can relate to this and understand that there's a lot that goes into trying to build yourself up and create the person you want to be, especially when you're in school and trying to find yourself in the process. This movie definitely hits home on that front. The first lesson is about balance, and it's an ongoing theme throughout the entire series, at least the first 2 movies, the ones that matter anyway. It's a great lesson though. You got to make sure that your life has balance, and if you don't, something's going to feel off. Things are going to eventually build up over time and you're going to have to explode like a volcano. So think about life in terms of balance. Are you doing enough of the things that light you up to account for the things that drain you? Can you get rid of the things that drain you? Maybe not completely, but as much as possible, so that all you're doing is things that either light you up or drain you minimally. Because, let's be honest, there's going to be things that are out there that drain you as you go through life. But things that completely sap your energy, do you really need to be doing those things? What's the value of those things? Those are important concepts to think about. Mr. Miyagi talks about this a lot. The second one's actually a quote from Mr. Miyagi. It says, "It's okay to lose to an opponent, but it's never okay to lose to fear." That's also a really powerful one. Fear is often the one thing standing between what we want and where we are right now. But that fear, whether it's a fear of failure, a fear of looking bad, a fear of just the unknown, of getting out of your comfort zone, there's so many things that hold us back. But what's on the other side of fear? The other side of fear is what we want, is our goal, our desire, what's going to make us happy, what's going to light us up. So we got to push through that fear. And so what he's saying is okay to lose to an opponent. There's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be someone stronger than you, someone faster, someone better at your job than you are. But if you lose to them, that's fine. But don't lose to yourself, because your fear comes from within you. There's nothing else holding that fear in front of you except your own mind. Your own limiting beliefs is what's holding you back there. So don't lose to yourself. Don't lose to something that you can control, because ultimately you can control your fear. Lose something that's external, that you have no control over. That's totally fine, because there's nothing you can do about that anyway. But take control of whatever you can take control of, and let go of the rest of the stuff. The third lesson is also a really powerful one. A lie becomes true only if a person believes it. There's a scene where Daniel's worried about what everyone's going to say, and Mr. Miyagi tells him this. And this is also hugely, hugely powerful. It seems kind of straightforward, right? Lies don't matter as long as people don't believe them. But what matters is what you believe. And we don't take the time to think about that. We think, what if that person believes this about me, or that person believes this about me? We don't think about what we believe about ourselves. What lies are we telling ourselves about ourselves? What lies do we choose to believe? And then what lies do we let people use to influence us? Understand that the only thing that's true is perception. And perception is not even really reality. Everyone perceives the world differently. So everyone has a different truth as far as what they've seen, what they experienced. So what does it really matter? The point is, you do what you think is best, based on your values, based on your authentic self. do what you think is best, and take care of yourself and take care of the people that matter to you, and take care of the things that matter to you. That's all you can ever do. Again, take control of what you can control. You can't control what someone else understands or believes or chooses to perceive. What you can control is what you say, what you do, and how you interact and react to that person. So take control of that, and the rest will fall into place. The fourth lesson is about iteration. And this is something I talk about a lot in my other videos. But first learn to stand, then learn to fly. This is nature's rule. That was another quote Miyagi had to Daniel. And again, rings so true. We always try to rush and get impatient with ourselves. We try to get to the next level. We compare ourselves to everybody else who's been doing what we want to do for so long. You sit there and you compare yourself to your friends or to people who are making more money than you or living a better life than you, traveling more, doing more things that you want to do. And you don't know what struggles they've been through. You don't know what their stories are. You don't know what they've done to get where they are. Sometimes you don't even think about that. You don't care to think about that. You're just so caught up in the story of comparing yourself that you're not good enough, or you're not doing this fast enough, or you're not successful enough yet. But the yet is the key. Always add that yet, because that opens the door for the future. If you make it if you say the statement without saying yet, it becomes an absolute. I'm not successful, or I'm not as successful as that person. And now that's an absolute. It's never going to be false, right? As long as I choose to believe that. So do what you can to change that. Make sure that you time box it with a yet. Because up until now, I haven't been where I want to be. I'm not there yet, but I will get there, and I'm working towards it. And have patience with yourself. There's a process to everything. There's steps in life. There's steps in business. There's steps as we live our day-to-day. And in order to get to the next level, you got to take the next step. You can maybe skip 1 or 2 steps, but you can't skip from the bottom of the stairwell to the top. Understand that there's a way to get where you need to get to, and there's lessons you got to learn along the way if you want to maintain that level of success. If you skip the wrong steps, you may end up falling down the stairs. Now there's so many quotes from this movie that I love, and concepts from the movie that I love. But the last one that I'll mention today out of these 5 is never to put passion in front of principles. If you put the passion first and then leave the principles behind you, even if you win, you'll lose. That's a message Miyagi gives to Daniel again, and it's so powerful, especially nowadays. We put emotions before everything else. We get these emotional, visceral reactions, and we let them own us. Let them take over our bodies and just react. All these videos about Karen, about this person and that person, reacting in horrible ways, in violent, frustrating, stupid ways. The person's not stupid, the behavior is stupid. The reaction is stupid because we're letting ourselves get caught up in these emotions. Emotions are not logical. Emotions don't have real... If you let your emotions run, it'll be chaos. And that's what we're rapidly getting to at this point. So take control of yourself. Own your emotions. Don't let them own you. Realize that there's a person on the other side of every conflict. And if that person chooses not to acknowledge you as a person, or chooses not to acknowledge your logic or reality or reason, that's their choice. You can choose to stand up or walk away. But don't let your emotions, even if you choose to fight, I don't mean physically necessarily, but verbally or whatever, maintain your composure, maintain your logic, maintain your reason. There's no reason to let emotion get into that interaction. And I say this myself, I'm guilty of it myself. We all are. We're all human. But as much as you can, keep your principles in mind. Know what you stand for. Let your values speak for you. Don't get caught up in the mudslinging and whatnot. People tend to prey on people with weak emotions, or who let emotions take over their entire lives. That's how half the country is divided in one direction, the other half is divided in another direction. There's no middle ground anymore, because we've let our emotions control things. I guarantee you we have more in common than we have differentiating us, but we don't see that, because our emotions are pushing us to either side. So take a second, examine things, and that's true in business as anything else, especially in business, especially in professional world. Emotions tend to ruin businesses and professional situations more quickly than anything else. Think with a cool head. Focus on what you want your outcomes to be. Let your principles and your values and your logic prevail. Now, I understand that's easier said than done, but do your best. Start noticing it in your behaviors, and then over time it'll change. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Another Cinema Coach video is always fun for me to do, especially for this one. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. If you liked the video today, please leave a comment below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to get notified of future videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of more Cinema Coach videos as we go through this. I love The Karate Kid. I love the martial arts movies. I'm going to probably do a Cobra Kai one later on, so please keep an eye out for that. But stay tuned, and thanks again for joining me today, guys. Take care, and stay safe.